Well, some of you guys knew that I asked a very specific question to Moscow Police Department over the weekend. I didn't get a response as of this morning, Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. So I sent the exact same message again and got a response in about half an hour. Let's talk about it. Hey guys, this is Jules with True Crime Reactions. Disclaimer: everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Okay, these crime scene photos that were released to the mainstream media in Idaho that we went over on Friday, I really questioned if the victims themselves were still in the photos, because the way that the photo of the bed where Ethan is apparently supposed to be laying doesn't really match the description for how apparently he was found, because he's supposed to have had his feet hanging off the bed, and you don't see that. You see the actual cornering, the actual edging of the bed, and it doesn't look like literally anything is hanging off the bed. I sent a message. I sent a very specific message to Moscow Police Department. Good morning. Can you clarify if the victims' bodies are still in these photos that were released? I would assume not, but the blurring is interesting, and we can see that in one, Murphy is still under Kaylee's desk, which is making many assume the bodies are in the photos. Can someone clarify so we can act accordingly? And again, I didn't get a response yesterday, so I sent it again this morning. Amber, a legal assistant over at the city of Moscow, has now confirmed that they are in the photos. Like, I'm getting chills literally like saying that out loud. Now, I'm glad that this was finally clarified, but it makes me question more things when it comes to how serious we should even be taking these reports. Because look at this photo. Now, knowing what you know, why do we not see blurring going all the way to the edge of the bed? Why do we see it stop a foot before the edge of the bed, showing that his legs were not hanging off of the bed the way that it's being described? So why is he being described in the report as being so tall that his head was hanging off the bed on one end and his feet were hanging off the bed on the other end, but that's not technically what we're seeing here? I know it's probably neither here nor there, but whenever they're describing the scene, if they're using exaggerated words for things, if they're not being precise in what they're describing, then what are they even writing the report for? Why can't we just go off of the photos? Why can't we just go off of the body cam? Because this just sort of proves that the cops are going to put descriptive wording into things that technically isn't true, isn't necessary. But again, I'm glad that we got some clarification so that whenever the rest of the photos get released, we know, because this changes the way that you can view these photos. Knowing that nothing literally has been moved, that they're still in the photos, that apparently no forensics has come in, no evidence was removed, no one's really walked around. This is straight up first visuals. It does change some things. Because it really could have been a mixed bag, guys. It could have been photos from after they were removed, mixed in with some from the same day, which is why we saw Murphy underneath Kaylee's desk. But this email pretty much confirms that the report from supplemental number 4 that was released from Moscow PD from, I believe his last name is Snyder, he was on scene to take photos and apparently finished up around 5:49 p.m. according to his report. Notice, though, there's nothing about a sheath in his report. That makes sense to me, because at this point in time, they would have not moved the bodies. They would have not moved Maddie in order to see the sheath. So then it still makes me question even more, why do we have Brett Payne's report saying that he saw the sheath while also claiming he stayed in the room by himself for a little while in his report? You know, the one that they ended up not giving us, the one that we're just now seeing. Because if they would have put that in the official one, people would have been asking even more questions years ago. Brett Payne himself is already hella sketchy, especially with his whole employment situation. Now, speaking of the crime scene photo video that we've been looking at since Friday, I probably had Bethany's room and the basement directions flipped. Going back and looking at 3D renderings of the house, it does look that way. Now, I will say it's really difficult to try to get a good grasp on what some of these photos are showing and where their location is, especially when it comes to open doorways with no context about what's really inside the room, or there's like a door with a single red spot on it and there's no context behind it. These were all released from local Idahoan mainstream media channels. I simply took the screenshots and put them in a review thing. I didn't do any filters. I didn't flip anything. And I had some people ask me, are some of these photos flipped? I don't know what the mainstream people did before they released them. All I know is that whenever they put them on their video, they're not giving us any descriptions. They're not telling us what the file name says. They're not giving anything in way of what we're looking at. So it was just a huge guessing game. But going back and looking at 3D renderings, it does look like I had Bethany's room and the basement directions flipped. But I wonder if it's because that one photo was flipped. I guess we'll find out when and if the rest of them ever release so that we can see if they're labeled. But honestly, with the way that Ann Taylor has constantly said how everything was a disorganized, discombobulated ass mess when it comes to discovery, something's telling me they're probably not labeled. So I guess we'll see. I'm glad we got some verification on this. It just makes it sadder. It makes it worse. It makes it all kinds of other things. But this is crime. It's not pretty. It's not bubblegum and unicorns and sprinkles and glitter and birthday cake. Okay. It's tragic. It's horrible. It's real. And it is what it is. I mean, this is life, unfortunately. This is the reality that we live in for some weird ass reason. But let me know what you guys are thinking about this down in the comments. If you like the way that I present this information and give my opinion, please don't forget to leave a like on the way out. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed already. And please don't forget to make sure that the notification bell is set to all so you don't miss any of my rants, reviews, reactions, updates, or deep dives. See y'all.